How about we? Do you guys want to waste time talking? No, let's not.
Yeah, personally.
Or like
Madonna, or we can talk about something more.
What's
serious.
Madonna up to? Yeah.
Oh gosh.
All right, let's talk
I'm
about
talking
Madonna.
about Madonna a long hot minute.
I think this is one of those stories that we can get in trouble for talking about. It's man, this is more of a like a pop culture kind of thing, but I also think I kind of just want to talk about it.
She got a lot of face work done.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
So take a look at this. Madonna's bizarre TikTok video raises eyebrows as fans grow concerned over the star's unsettling appearance. What has she done to herself?
This was such a weird video too. I saw it.
First, it does look like she got ridiculous plastic surgery, and it makes her look really bad. But there's a couple of things I wanted to point out, and I think this plays to like cultural issues. For one, the obsession with relevance on social media. Clearly now, like this is like, what did she post it on TikTok?
Yeah.
And everyone's sharing it. But I wonder if this is actually just the front-facing camera making her look
Yeah, it looks like a
distorted.
fisheye lens of some sort.
Right.
I don't think so, because she's posted other
Bathtub video.
photos and videos, the bathtub
Yeah.
thing on her Instagram and TikTok that make it pretty clear that this is some pretty heavy work being done. And she like had her butt done too. And it's one of those really obviously fake situations where you don't even know how they sit down on it.
Oh my gosh, uncomfortable.
So here, look at this video. You can see it. It's just creepy. Oh man, it's so cringe. It's so creepy. What is going on? So here's why I want to talk about this, because it is kind of relaxing to talk about the inanity of this pop culture stuff. But I also think what people don't realize, celebrities get plastic surgery, and then they look really good, and no one says anything.
Yeah, no one knows.
But then when they age, the weird scar tissue doesn't age the same way a regular face would. So they start to look really, really weird as they get older.
I used to take care of old ladies, and sometimes they'd get boob jobs. And these things would stay where they were implanted, and the rest of the lady would sag.
Oh,
and I was like,
no.
why did you do this to yourself? It was horrible. And you could just see them. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. But anyway, yeah.
I want to
Dope.
advise people not to get plastic surgery unless you have to.
Yeah,
Like
good
for
advice.
medical reconstruction or something, don't do it. Don't hurt yourself, man.
Why does anyone do it? I really don't get it.
I mean, the only situation I could see that's semi-justifiable is if you're like a TV personality and you get like a little bit of Botox to even out lines in the forehead. I mean, something really minor.
But why?
Vanity is a real thing, and unfortunately, when you have people on social media for all of their lives, I think it's more difficult now than ever to age gracefully. And these people are really nasty about appearances on the internet.
That's
I
true.
mean,
My
it's
teeth
tough.
are jagged like a jigsaw puzzle. I wear the same clothes every day. I wear a beanie all the time. I got no hair, whatever. I'm not going to get surgery. I'm not going to get I got crowns, I think.
Yeah,
That was
your
because my molar cracked. I had a root canal when I was little, and then this one.
Yeah,
just
reconstructive surgery is
Yeah.
fine. I mean, you want to use plastic surgery for reconstructive burn surgery, stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's what it's for. I mean, that's a phenomenal advancement in human medicine, but don't rip up your face.
Well, and did you guys hear about this story with Bella Hadid, the supermodel who got a nose job when she
Yeah.
was 14 years old? Like, her face wasn't even done growing into itself yet. And apparently her parents signed off on this cosmetic procedure. And now, of course, she regrets it. She's like, I had this really interesting ancestral nose, and I think I would have grown into it. And now I'm forever living with the knowledge that I modified myself in a way that I'm not happy with when I was 14.
They're going to get, I was hearing stories about like young girls wanting to get plastic surgery to look like filters. And that like older women are getting plastic surgery to look like the filters make them on Instagram. Yo, there is a malignancy. Is it coming from the internet that's making people, like that's what I was saying before about like social media, TikTok, whatever, making people do this?
It's coming through the internet, but it's not from the internet. It's coming from people.
Yeah.
Individuals are either inadvertently perpetuating a sick cycle. Probably they want to look like cartoon characters. A lot of this, like the whole idea of the furry thing. Like I think I'm a fuzzy animal.
No, they don't think they're animals. They think they're cartoons.
I think the
Well, they don't
most
think they're
beautiful you can
cartoons.
be is who you really are. You don't need to mash up your face or your body or any of that stuff. Eat healthy too, because it makes you more beautiful.
True that, yeah.
This is the crazy thing to me too. I've never really understood why everybody wants to be somebody else.
Not everybody.
I mean that figuratively.
But I know
not
what you mean, because
literally.
even I play role-playing games. I like to fantasize about being a hero in a strange land. And sometimes
but
it
that's
makes me a
different.
better performer just thinking those things, like living out fantasy realities.
I mean, like, of course, we play games. Sometimes there is escapism. That I'm not talking about that. I'm saying how, like, people are like, they look in the mirror and I need to cut this up and restructure it. I want to be something different. It's like, why? I don't understand why you're not happy with just being you.
I think that this especially applies to women. I don't know if you agree with me on this.
100%.
I find it to be so much simpler to just be yourself, put a little bit of makeup on, paint the barn, my dad used to say. But I think in Madonna's case, it's because she's getting older and she knows it. And I think it's terrifying to her. So she's like really going out.
Well, especially in like the world of pop stardom, right? You almost have an age limit on how long you're allowed to be relevant in the industry. And there's a lot of pressure from music executives to look a certain way. I mean, like, gone is the world of these amazing, like, 70s singer-songwriters that could look however, but as long as they delivered a good music product, they would be really successful. Now there's really this pop star culture where you kind of have to look and dress a certain way in order to be popular in the music industry, and I think that's really unfortunate. And then there's the question of just social media's amplification of people's insecurities. I mean, growing up, like, as a young teen girl, I felt like we all had body image issues and worried about our appearance. I can't imagine how much more difficult that would have been if I was on Instagram all day looking at these influencers who all look exactly the same, yet none of them are real. They all have plastic surgery or filters or all of these other body modification tools at their disposal, editing software, Photoshop, things like that. When you're fed that feedback loop constantly, that's really hard for young women. And I think if you're a parent, like, you have to be thinking about limiting your kids' access to social media and their phones as much as possible.
No social media.
None. I don't want them to have a phone. Nothing. Like, you get a brick iPod and that's it.
Yeah.
And this is funny too, because several years ago I was like, I got my niece a cell phone so that she could make, learn apps and do all this stuff and be tech savvy. And then I remember being like, her dad took it away saying, I don't want her to have this. And I was like, why would he do that? Now after a couple of years, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good decision.
Yeah.
Take a look at this photo right here.
Oh, these guys.
Oh, no.
You guys, oh no.
I've seen this before.
Look at so these are the two famous brothers
The
or whatever.
Bogdanov twins, I think they're
What are they called?
Bogdanov.
Bogdanov twins.
Yeah.
Did one of them die recently?
I think they both did.
Yeah, they both did. Why would they want to look like that?
So they were TV stars, right?
So check this out. Ready for this?
Oh, gosh.
That's them when they were younger.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Before work, they still
they
have a
still
lot of
still
work
looks a
done.
little-
Yeah.
Right. They still look weird.
They're starting to look like everything else.
But like
That's the problem with work. It makes you look like everything else.
But I'm wondering if
Vague and boring.
No. I'm wondering if they got the work when they were young, and this is what happens when you age with all that.
No, that's
weird-
more work.
More work.
More work, definitely.
Yeah, they went overboard.
100%.
Did they think they looked good?
Yeah.
No,
I think it's kind of
No.
like...
They never did.
I think social or plastic surgery is kind of addictive in the way that tattoos are to some people as well.
That's how it is. If you think you look bad, no amount of plastic surgery is going to change that. So these
Exactly.
people do it, and then they still think they look, and then they do it, and they still think it's like comes from within.
This makes me think a little bit of gender reassignment surgery, because the problem is not in your physical body. It is 100% inside your head, and no amount of changing your body is going to fix what's going on in your mind. And this is what people who detransition say. They're like, nobody dealt with the problem that was, my thinking.
I will say
unless
the food is like no amount of plastic surgery is going to fix your mind, but the food can fix your body and your mind.
Well, look, if you look in the mirror and I think plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery, and any kind of body modification surgery, any kind, be it trans species like some people do or transgender, whatever, I think you've got a disconnect between your perception, your body, or whatever. As you're mentioning, that's the issue. Like the
Body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
So my issue here is there's literally nothing you can do unless we develop like nanotech cellular reprogramming or something, and then you go into like a stasis chamber that changes your body or something. We just do not have the technology to actually give you something that represents what you see and or want.
Nor should we. I mean, I don't think.
If we literally develop technology that you can like actually, I don't know, physically change your body literally, legitimately in the future somehow, then I'd be like, okay, whatever. I say okay, whatever to a lot of, look, if these people want to do this, I got no problem with it. I'm just saying right now, the technology does not exist to make you look the way you want to look.
Right. So right now, our best course of action is to teach people that it's going to be hard, but you're going to have to change the way that you think. And you can use cognitive behavioral therapy. There are a lot of different things that you can do. I don't know. Most people don't want to go on to antidepressants. I completely understand that. But right now, we have the power to change how you view the world. And even though I know it's hard and every day might be a struggle, people who deal with addictions have this and they overcome it. And this is something that they really get a grip on. And every single day is a struggle. And they still manage to do it. So I think if we can change people's minds now, we should make that a higher priority than trying to change our bodies.
Let me ask this question though, for because you were saying they shouldn't, like people shouldn't modify their bodies. Is that a fair assessment?
I mean, in cases where they have like a medical problem, I think that's different. For aesthetic reasons, no, I don't think they should.
Like what if we get to the point technologically where you can actually take a 10-year-old kid and they walk inside a chamber and then they actually completely change genders, like literally biologically 100%.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You don't think they should do it?
No, absolutely not. I mean, and I'm Catholic, so maybe this has like something to do with it, but I'm very resistant to altering human nature and the way that we experience the world. I think that gets to really dangerous places.
What if they were 18 and they walked in and like a genie snap, boom, they were the opposite sex?
And I still think that's bad.
No.
Yeah, I'm not about that at all.
It's an interesting question because, you know, as we're thinking about plastic surgery and all that stuff, I'm like, is the issue permanent body damage that these kids are going to be, many of them sterilized? Or you know, is that the issue? And then if there was a way that the kid actually changed,
like to me, I don't support gender transitions generally because I don't think they address the underlying issue, which is the insecurity and the body dysmorphia. And then for kids, it's worse because it's life changing and they're not obviously of age to consent to that type of
it's going to be real
change.
Crazy when we're in the metaverse. You're going to have a kid born in the metaverse. And they're going to be like, oh, hey, mom, I'm trans. And then they like click a button and their avatar just changes. But we're at the point where your brain is plugged in and their digital bodies are indistinguishable from base reality, then people are going to be walking around like dragons and carrots, and there's going to be like a rabbit. You're going to sit down in your office, and there's going to be like a big rabbit, and he's going to be like, hello, I'm like, John, your boss.
I just don't see any way how that's not bad for like a truth-centric society, right? Like we should want people to try to seek truth.
This will be crazy. If we get to the point where we primarily exist in the metaverse, you could be born into a digital reality where your brain's plugged in like the Matrix. Choose an avatar for yourself that's, say, like a giant carrot. And then one day when the metaverse breaks down and you get ejected from it, you'll be like, oh, what am I? Like, I am not a carrot anymore. And you'd freak out, you know?
I actually took some heat last week. I know, imagine that, on Twitter again. But I was talking about this press release I got from this company that is actually partnering with the metaverse to create a Narcos experience in the metaverse. So you basically get to be a drug lord and like run this like cartel or whatever. Like that. But for me, it's a different experience when you feel like you're in it, right? Like that's Westworld level stuff. And I play video games. Like, I'm definitely not a person who says ban video games because they lead to violence or anything like that. But to me, the metaverse, and there's been preliminary studies that have talked about the effects of virtual reality on the brain. And apparently, when you're doing these things in the metaverse or in virtual reality, your brain actually stores them or implants them as if they were real memories.
Interesting.
And so if you're going in and doing violent stuff in the metaverse, how does that fundamentally alter someone's perception of the world? And what negative effects could that have for people's entire lives after that? If you think that you killed somebody or you think that you were running drugs, like I don't see how that can lead anywhere good for society.
I think we often talk about the negative things about the metaverse, but there's positive things too. Safety trainings, you know, without real risk of harm for a lot of issues. Training firefighters, training police officers.
People are gonna go in there with legalized psychedelics. It's gonna be so crazy, dude. Society is about to split into. It's about to fractalize into a bunch of different ways of being. It's gonna be nuts, dude. Different laws, different societies, different religions and relationships, different languages are going to start springing up.
They're going to, like in North Korea, they'll take thousands of citizens, plug them into the metaverse and just never tell them. just to like see what happens.
Oh, dude, I've been working on a script, by the way. I'll tell you about it later.
But think about this.
Thanks for reminding me.
So you have in your country people who do physical labor for producing food and resources and machines, and then you have intellectual and abstract labor, which is like writing songs or developing code, software, things like that. You could take all of your intellectual property development people and put them in the metaverse and just seal them off. And then they can do the same. They can do the work digitally with their minds plugged into a computer, and then everyone else can just till the fields and make food or whatever.
Yeah, what'll happen is their mind will be working so fast, but if their body gets disturbed, it'll slow down their thought process, and they'll be like, "No, we can't have that. Do not disturb his body. Keep it sealed off so his brain can work at peak capacity."
Imagine right now, all of a sudden you're sitting wherever you're sitting, you're watching this show, you feel this pulling sensation in the back of your head. And then all of a sudden it feels like you are actually being pulled out of your body. And then there's a flash of light and you're standing in a field and you're a duck. You'd freak out, right?
Yeah.
You'd be like, what is this? Like, where are my hands? Why am I a duck? That's what it's going to be like for people who grow up in the metaverse and choose to be a duck and then one day get pulled out and they're a human. They're going to be like, I have hands. What am I? Their identity would be totally fractured and separated from their bodies,
I wanted to cap off this plastic surgery conversation because I was trying to bend my face. Like I'd pull the bones open slowly over time. So like I'll spend an hour and just hold it in place. And I think it actually slowly moves over time like clay.
What?
I can't tell if it's real or not.
Well, that's why they tell women when you're putting like moisturizer on your face, you're supposed to go like this instead of like this or like this.
The bones are growing and moving. You can slowly over time move pull the jaw outward if you want a bigger jaw and stuff like that. It just takes a lot of time.
Yeah. Those ladies, they put the rings on their neck and they make their necks really long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
That's true.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.